Hello, everyone, and welcome to Four Lads Rangers Monday Night Live. If you thought we'd stop smiling, you're absolutely wrong. First of all, some bad news. It was 33 glorious days. Wilfred, thank you for everything. 6 defeats in 8. Absolutely glorious. You'll be missed. You'll be missed. I never thought anybody could be worse than Russell Martin, but you just grabbed it and you ran with it, and you were so brave, so loved, and you'll be missed. Gentlemen, what a pleasure to see you. Amrit, you must be off your tits with happiness. How are you, my friend?
10 million down the drain. Chermiti scores again. Slamina, waka waka, mate. Honest to God, I am absolutely ecstatic. It's just been an amazing couple of days, getting it right into them on every social media channel possible. I've just been ingesting all this wonderful meltdown content for 3 days solid. It's been brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. So, listen, it's been a while since we've beaten them and it actually meant something, Stevie. And Saturday meant a whole lot to a lot of people. So just delighted that we can bask in this glory. And hopefully that will kick us on to the next level now and put in a real challenge for this title over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a bit of a surprise. Wait to hear Kenny. He's been singing various songs since Saturday afternoon. 3, 2, 1. Kenny, good evening. How are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. Thank you. Apologies for the voice, people. I don't even have a sore throat. It's just my voice is gone. But I'm wearing black because I'm in mourning, and I've just come back to Parkhead, and I've been demonstrating about that outrageous decision today. Disgusted with him for getting rid of him, I've got to say. And don't make me laugh because I really can't speak if I still have to go high pitch.
So it's me, Sean Dyche, and Amrit tonight, folks. So I hope we got on all right. Honest to Christ. He came on and I was like, what are you doing on? What are you doing here? But yeah, he's here. Anyway, folks. Yeah, Amrit, we've not spoke to you since Saturday. I'm kind of dreading asking this, but how was your Saturday? How much did you enjoy it? Give us your feedback from the game. Me and Kenny done an hour pod on Saturday afternoon. Incidentally, thank you to everybody who watched us live. There was nearly 8,000 took in the post-match live. I'm delighted to say that 22,000 people have picked that up since, and one of our highest ever viewed podcasts. I'm absolutely delighted with it. Maybe it was a shock of me and Kenny being happy, but Kenny and I have already had our say, Amrit, but it's nice. I'm sure you're as delighted as we were. We all seen the video. I posted it up on social media, your little sing song. But how did you enjoy Saturday afternoon, mate?
Oh, mate, it was just great. You know, just like so many Bears around the world on Saturday, there was great anticipation, expectation. I think for the first time in a long time, we went in really feeling confident that we should be able to get the job done. And after the first 45 minutes, even my optimism was shattered. I must admit, I was looking at damage limitation. I thought to myself, if we don't get to half-time at 1-0, this is going to be embarrassing. And I was really, really worried after the first 45 minutes. But then the second 45 came out, changed the shape. And I think that was really important from Danny Rule. Got Asgard off, brought on Dio. And I think that just firmed us up. Because you can see, Stevie, from the first half analysis that we were just a bit too far up the pitch. And I think Danny Rule had looked at the teams that have had success against Celtic over the last couple of months, that when you press them high, they panic and sometimes make mistakes at the back, which is what we did under Russell Martin, to be perfectly honest. We saw that against Motherwell when Kasper Schmeichel kicked out, went straight to one of their players, they lost a goal. So I think Danny Rowe was thinking, get in their faces, get on the front foot and make it difficult for them. The problem with that was that they actually played against it quite well, Celtic, to give them their due. And then they were always finding a spare man in midfield. Callum McGregor was picking the ball up. And rather than being faced with 2 or 3 Rangers midfielders in front of him, he was facing our back four. And he was able to then play between the lines and create some space. So bringing on Dio was a big a big decision for us, and we needed it because it made sure that our midfielders were where they should be, which is in the middle of the pitch, nice and compact, making it difficult for us to play through. And that made a huge change because Celtic were left with very few options then. They were having to go down the line, they were having to go long, they were going back to the goalkeeper, so they didn't have those options of going forward, carrying the ball and then attacking. And we capitalised on that. Our shape was really good, we're really positive, we were getting on the front foot, and managed to turn the momentum in our favour. So just really, really happy for this squad of players, Stevie, because everybody wrote them off a number of months ago. Everybody, the media, our fans, opposition fans, our rivals, even us, Stevie, even us on this pod, the three of us wrote this team off as serial losers who would never achieve anything at all, not only with Rangers, but in their football careers in general. I mean, we went to town on them, Stevie, and I hold my hands up for that. I did, absolutely. And I'm delighted that they've proven us all wrong and actually made something of this season now. From where we were in the depths of despair, Stevie, with nothing to look forward to, no hope at all in our season. And now we find ourselves at the turn of the year, equal points with Celtic and 6 off the top. And if this game goes ahead tomorrow, which I pray it does, absolutely pray it goes ahead tomorrow with the weather up in Aberdeen, hopefully they can get down for the game. They should have just stayed here, Stevie. They were in Falkirk on Saturday. They should have just booked into the Shire Hotel in Grangemouth, down the road from me in Falkirk, and stayed there for the game. But hopefully it goes ahead tomorrow, and then we get our 3 points and continue to turn the screw and build the momentum, because that's what we all want to see.
Well, look, before we all start tickling each other's balls, it's 3 points at the end of the day, and this squad's got a long way to go before I start talking about title races and chases and stuff like that. I'd rather take it a game by game. I thought we were magnificent on Saturday, Kenny. We spoke about it. Obviously, the difference between first and second half was exceptional, and the manager got it right. Now, something that was pointed out to me today by Chris, and I thought he was bang on and spot on, that if you watch the game back, the manager sat down and 37, 38 minutes, and for the last 7-8 minutes, himself and his assistants took notes. They on the iPad, they were figuring out how to fix this and change this. Also, that last 7, 8, 9 minutes, we didn't really get threatened too much, so we were able just to ride it out, get to half time, and make those changes. And again, I have to credit the manager. Now, if you remember the preview show, I wanted Diamandi to start, and I wanted him to man-mark Callum McGregor. It actually turns out Callum McGregor's a bit of a wet fart these days. He did absolutely nothing, and we just left him, and he didn't affect the game at all, and it meant that we could pick up the others in midfield, force them wide, and that was something we discussed on Saturday afternoon. So, in watching it, I watched the game back again. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. There are loads of funny moments on it that they are absolutely woeful. Ralston, Trusty. It was just a joy to watch, to be quite honest. They never looked threatening at all, which was great. You don't feel that at the time as much, but that second half was as comfortable as I remember it. Certainly after we get the third. Maybe they had a couple of chances during it, but nothing over. That pressure you expect never really came. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyable. We have to remind ourselves it's only 3 points. If we don't go and win tomorrow night against Aberdeen or go and win on Sunday, it makes it redundant. We have to go and carry this on. If Rangers do that, then yeah, I'll start to talk about title races and things like that. But they need to keep that momentum up. But they deserve all the credit in the world. Amrit's right. We did write them off, and we'll come back to that. But they were great. They really were absolutely terrific. They deserve all the praise in the world for what was a terrific 3 points.
The second half was tremendous. It really was. You just look at it, and I was laughing there because you said that Chris had said that to you, but I actually said it to you on Saturday, but you glossed over that. Gave Chris
because Chris is my best friend, you know that. So
and
he's my boss.
I did say that to you. No, but it was true that there was I said at the time there was a real concern in his face, and he looked really pissed off about it. And it was one of those situations where whatever he's done at halftime, you've got to give him massive credit for it, because they came out like a totally different team. And when you consider that there was that hesitancy in the first half, when you consider the way that we actually took the game to them in the second half and actually bossed it. I've watched it back as well. I watched it back on Saturday night, and we dominated that second half. And for all that they had a couple of chances, that's it. And we could have scored more, and you've got to turn around and give Danny Rule and his coaching staff all the credit in the world. And just consider that what you have said there about tomorrow night. I hope it does go tomorrow night. The game goes ahead, because I think it's vital for us to get into second place. And if you can go and win it by a couple of goals, the pressure cranks right up across the city right away. So we've just got to take it one game at a time, Stevie, and get the wins. It's that simple. And I'll stop talking again.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely clear. As I said, you don't want to get such a good result on Saturday and then not follow it up. There was no press conference, folks, just with the turnaround time between Celtic and this game tomorrow night. Before we go on to speak about Danny Rule and the press conference and stuff like that, there has been reports over Djon Sterling at the weekend. His behaviour being involved in a road traffic accident. There was suggestions of drink driving and things like that. We don't know the truth. The club haven't formally commented on it. I don't think it does any room to speculate. I'm certainly not going to sit here and criticise mistakes that people might make, because I've made 100 myself. So I'm in no place to judge. But what I would say is everybody at Four Lads of the Dream, myself included, doesn't condone any behaviour that puts anybody on the road at risk. And I would trust that the club would deal with that properly and assertively. And we have to just trust that that's happened. So with that, there was nothing else really said. Danny Rule did say he's available, despite what's happened. I don't think it's appropriate that we comment any further on that. Everybody would condone that sort of behaviour if it's happened, but at the moment it's speculation. Djon Sterling's a fantastic footballer for Rangers, and we would hope that he makes the right decisions off it. I think that's the only thing we really can say in that. Don't think we wanted to ignore it, but it's also something we can't speculate on either. So from that, Danny Rule said today, and it was a Sky TV interview, so they will always do that because they are rights holders and things like that. He said that he feels the win at the weekend, Amrit can shows the players what can be achieved. Stunned at the effect of winning at the weekend, being serenaded by workers outside his home every morning with his song. We now know it wasn't workers, it was in fact Kenny. Amazed at the scenes leaving Parkhead, the fireworks getting back to Ibrox, so many fans there welcoming him. Compared to the expectations at Rangers, what he felt at Bayern Munich, basically the same. Loves the connection between the players and the fans. He sees it and really feels it now. If you remember, I spoke to you guys about on this show about Danny Rule being really clever. He's aligning himself with the fans. He's doing it again, even in subtly in what he says. He aligns himself with the fans all the time. He speaks highly of the fans, builds a connection. Even if people aren't realising what he's doing, he's building it every time. Everybody knows how I feel about Danny Rule. I think he's absolutely fabulous. He's got great hair and just a very nice guy. And he's tactically astute, and he's a coach, and he can make our players better, as we're seeing unfold right in front of our eyes. Another test again for him tomorrow night. But I think he says everything right. I think it's great that the effect of the fans and the response of the fans on Saturday is a team, as a support that's dying to celebrate a positive team. We want Rangers to come out of the shadows. We want a successful Rangers team, and we're all dying for it to happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Danny Rule's been very, very clever the way he's conducted himself. We spoke at great length about that, but I think he recognises with the passion of the Rangers fans, it's a very unique prospect for any manager coming into a club like Rangers when it means so much to so many people. This isn't just supporting a club, it's our lives, Stevie. It takes over every single part of our lives. We plan holidays around fixtures. We can't go here and we can't go there because this game's on, and we look at our finances and we manage things and we move things around just so we can go and support the club. It's huge, huge commitment. And I think Danny Rule recognises that when the Rangers fans are on your side, you can become an unstoppable force, which very few clubs or people will be able to stop once it gets moving. And I think he knows that with 55,000 at the back of him, plus everybody else sitting at home all around the world, he knows if you get that positive energy behind the players in the club, it's a real force to be reckoned with. And he's been ingratiating himself with the fans, but I don't think he's been doing it sort of in a manipulative way, Stevie. I think he's been doing it with a real sense of sincerity. I don't know why you two are laughing, but
I'm laughing at that Edith thing from Still Game. That is so funny. Just do Kenny do the quiz for us in a minute. Sorry, my man, you carry on. I didn't mean to be rude.
But yeah, so I think he recognizes he's doing it in a very sincere way, because I think he genuinely is a good guy and he wants that unity within our club from top to bottom. I think for him, he wants to be part of something big. He wants to be part of something great, and he understands and recognizes his responsibility within that framework. And he knows that the fans are a real crucial ingredient to the success of this club, and we are. Because you can see the effect that we have on that team when we get flying. Give us something to cheer about and we will give you everything we have. And it's great now that we've got a team and a manager that we can get behind.
Amrit, you can answer the question that Colin asked. Do I sense a wee bromance between you and our manager, Stevie?
Oh, mate, honest to God, it was probably one of the most uncomfortable press conferences. It's the only press conference I've ever been in, the first one. And it was uncomfortable, Colin. Let me tell you. We were sitting there, went into the press room. Stevie's like, oh, front row. Let's go and sit in the front row. So we sat ourselves down in the front row. He's like, oh, Danny will be in. I was like, right, okay, Stevie. He's like a kid at Christmas time. And then Danny came in. Stevie's face, you should have seen it. Like just a massive smile. And I know Stevie doesn't laugh all that often or smile, as everybody on this channel knows. But Danny Rule does something to Stevie that very few people can. So the minute he came in, Stevie was like a wee kid. Oh, Danny. And then Danny Rule came round and shook everybody's hand and thanked them for coming. And I mean, he shook everyone's hand. He shook my hand. But he was shaking my hand, but he was looking at Stevie. Right? That's what was going on. And the minute he went to Stevie, big hugs and all the rest of it. So, yeah, there's definitely something going on there, which may or may not come out in the media in the next couple of months. Who knows, Stevie? But in answer to your question, Colin, yes, it's a bromance, but it's much more than that.
I've had enough coming out in the media. Thanks very much, Amrit. Yeah, listen, Danny's a great guy. Really like him. But he wins games for Rangers, and that's all I really care about. Do I like him? I like him. I think we have a mutual appreciation for each other's hairline. Anyway, moving on. Danny also said, Kenny, that Djon Sterling is available. No fresh injuries. Transfers, we're looking at things and trying to get deals done to give us every chance. Targeting a number 6. Hallelujah. That's something I've spoken about a lot. A left back, a few options up the top end of the pitch. He may or may not, during that embrace that Amrit witnessed, have whispered Josh Windas's name in my ear, but we'll wait and see how that works out. Says he's a great relationship with the board and the owners. I will tell you, the only bit of gossip I've heard, and it doesn't involve names, is that a couple of signings are close. Close might be million miles away, Kenny. So it's as good as listening to a WhatsApp or whatever. I would really like it to be true. Penrice has been heavily linked. That doesn't seem to go away. We do know there's been bids in for him. We do know that they have asked more or less about Josh Windass without things being formal. I still think Windass might become an option for Rangers, depending on, we'll just need to wait and see. Penrice, yeah, maybe. I think he would be a very good left-back signing. You would still bring him in and then look to bring in somebody a wee bit more experienced in the summer, I think. But that gives you a plan at least. A 6, a left-back, a few options at the top end of the pitch, which is interesting. Do we get somebody in the right? Do we get a 10? Do they gamble? Because they're well in it now, Kenny. Whether I might not want to admit it, but they're well in it. So does Andrew Kavanagh gamble a wee bit? It's going to be an interesting few weeks. But without sounding ungrateful, because they have been on a great run, they did get a super result on Saturday. They get a finger out a wee bit. We're still as susceptible as a bad result as we were last week, even though we've just had a couple of good ones. Go and get the business done, Rangers. Don't do it when it's too late. Don't miss the boat. See, when the sun is shining, fix the roof. That old boring, pissy statement, but it's true.
It's true. And the thing I would say is that when you look at needing a number 6, that's a definite for me. We need a left back as cover. I think we need a number 10 that's going to hold down that place and really dominate up there, create for us. And depending on who goes, the likes of Danilo was to go on loan, you would need a number 9. And that's where I'm kind of at with it. Excuse me, that we really do need to wait and see who's going. I think there'll be an awful lot of wheeling and dealing. There was rumour today about Finlay Curtis going on loan. Somebody else, I can't remember who it was, one of the young lads away on loan as well. And I think we do need kind of bodies out as well as bringing them in, Stevie. So I'm just of the mind when you look at it and you actually realise that we are in this, that the owners have to go and gamble a little bit. They have to take the jump, if you like, take the leap forward and go and spend what, or I'll rephrase that, go and try and get what Danny Rule wants, because he has done a tremendous job for us. There's no getting away from that, Stevie. That if we're sitting there, I know somebody's please save me. But to be fair, the comments have been absolutely hysterical. They're very funny. At least I'm giving everybody a laugh. But that's where I am with this actually at the moment. Are we good enough? Are we the finished article? No, we're nowhere near it. So we do need players to come in. However, it's key positions that I think we need. I do think we need a 6. I do think we need a 10. And I do think if Danilo was to go, then I would certainly say that we have to get another striker in, and we definitely cover it left back as well. So that's where I'm at.
Kenny's voice is so bad that somebody's asked, are the sound levels low tonight? Asking if there's a problem. No, Kenny's just, I don't actually know what's happening. He's not unwell. He's just been singing too much songs since Saturday. That's the God's honest truth of it. Did tell him to take the night off. I mean, Amrit really
genuinely woke up with this yesterday morning. This happens to me about once a year. I lose my voice.
Right, I'll keep the jokes aside. Amrit, we heard from Conor Baron and John Suter. Conor Baron says, take each game as it comes, just focus on getting results. Tweaking with the formation made Rangers dominant in the second half, and you could see it. Not to over-egg it, Diamandi made an absolute difference, which he can do, because he does run about, he does give you that energy. They did decide to leave Callum McGregor, and because he was deep, he never really got involved in the game. He didn't go forward the way he normally does. Is he spent? That's their issue, and I don't really care. But for us, it meant that Raskin could get forward, it meant that Baron could chase, and it meant that Diamandi could ball hunt and try and get on the ball as well, as you seen he did for the third. It basically meant we went 3-2. But on Conor Baron, he's consistently been good recently. A good I've said quite a lot, we need guys that are going to be a solid 7 out of 10 every week. Conor Baron realistically is a solid 7 out of 10. Does he ever give you 8s or 9s? Debatable. He's not really a threat. But if he's given me a solid 7 out of 10 every week, then playing in my team at this very moment. So I thought that 3 worked really well. But I also think he's right. Take each game as it comes and just focus on getting the result one game at a time. Next one's Aberdeen, weather permitting. And at this moment in time, there's no threat to that. My understanding is Aberdeen are travelling, so there's no threat to Ibrox will be playable, and the surrounding areas will be treated as such as well. So I look forward to that. But sorry for waffling, back to Conor Baron. I think he says it absolutely perfectly, really.
Yeah, I've always been a very big fan of Conor Baron. I mean, last season, he started the season really well and then fall off a wee bit with his form as we got closer to Christmas, which was a shame. But this season, he's really done well for us. He works really, really hard, which I love about him. He's got a lot of fighting spirit in him. He goes and gets that ball. He hunts that ball like his life depends on it. He's got that great, just never die, no surrender attitude, which we all love as Rangers fans. He really epitomises the spirit of Rangers for me. He's like a lion in the middle of the park at the moment. And I'm really happy for him because I think he's a great professional. I think he has a very good attitude. And I think he offers a lot to the players around him as well. You can see yesterday that he's very vocal. The communication is high. He's letting guys know around him what they should be doing, where he'd like them to be, helping and supporting. He's got all that in his locker, which I think you need if you're in the middle of that park, because you are the engine room If you look at the second goal as well, Stevie, you know, that work down the right-hand side, I think where Djon had intercepted the ball, there was a wee give and go. Djon went for it, like absolutely sailed down the right-hand side, cut the ball and it got cleared. But Baron was the first one over to the touchline. It was Baron that went and got the ball.
First goal.
The first goal. I apologise. The first goal. So it was Baron that went to retrieve the ball. Even when it's not on the park, Baron says, "I'll get it." Off he went. He grabbed the ball, and he was the one that took the quick throw. Now, that's not traditionally something that we do at Rangers. We wait, we hang about, we'll wait for somebody else to come and get the ball, we'll chuck it to them. By that time, the opportunity's passed. But Baron was quick on his toes, thought quickly, and then we got the goal from it as well. And even if you look at I saw the analysis yesterday on the BBC, if you look at our third goal, when Diomande was driving forward, Gasman was in the middle of the park. And that's only because Conor Baron had called Gasman in tight to get on Tierney when Celtic had the throw-in down in the corner, because he wanted to make sure that Celtic didn't have that out ball. So as we then turned the ball over, Gasman was in the middle of the park in a position to pick the ball up and then feed it to Mikey Moore. That does not happen without Conor Barron's instructions. So these little small contributions that he's making off the ball are really important. And like I said, I think he's a model professional, and I think he spoke very, very well. He's right. It is about one step at a time, one result at a time. I'm very guilty of already in my own mind future predicting and pacing that we're going to win this league and everything's going to be fantastic and it's going to be 56 and 26. That's just the way I'm designed. But Conor Baron, as a professional, it puts the dampeners a wee bit on that, which I think is the thing you need to do. I think John Souttar did the same as well, and I'm sure we'll talk about what he said. But for me, Conor Baron is a vital ingredient to the success of this team at the moment. He's a very solid performer and he's consistent, Stevie, and that's important because we've got so many players this season that are playing well in flashing and fleeting moments. Conor Baron's given us that consistent work rate and that consistent contribution, and I'm a big, big fan of Conor Baron, no doubt.
Yeah, as I said, he is 7 out of 10. Breaking news for Scottish football. Does it concern us? Maybe it does slightly. Martin O'Neill is back as the Celtic manager, named again until the end of the season. Don't really think it changes our position. They're going to be strong. The wondrous run that Wilfred Nancy went on, sadly, was never really going to continue as funny and brilliant as it was. So they've done that. I don't think they were overly magnificent when he was there, but they did win games and he does know how to get results. So, as I said, it's maybe a little warning to Andrew Kavanagh. Again, going back, Danny Rule, give him the tools because he is working miracles as it is. So go and give him that. Back to Rangers, Kenny, Djon Sterling. A real togetherness being built within the squad. Said the tweak made us get to the ball quicker and give our forwards more space. Huge praise, for Chermiti and Moore, which we'll get to. Praises Danny Rule, saying he's been excellent to work with. You and I both know. And we both know that when things aren't going well or people are a little bit dubious, or there always seems to be things coming out of the training ground. It happened early with Gio. It happened with Philip Clement. Things were said about Barry without sounding wanky. You're getting nothing like this time round. It's all positives. It's all we want to be here. It's all praise for Danny Rule, even in situations that aren't public, group chats, etc., etc. The players are talking this guy up like he's absolutely wonderful, and they love the training. They love working with him. They love the assistants. It's almost like we've stumbled into the perfect formula because we know he wasn't first, second, third, even choice. He walked away, then he was back, etc., etc. So they seem to have stumbled onto a group which, quite be honest, they are a bit pissy. They are a bit egotistical and all that. They are down tools at times, or certain ones can. He's got this group moving and playing for him, and every single one of them talk him up. And there's been no negativity coming out of Rangers now for a very long time. And bear in mind, he came in when we were 8th. Again, yeah, it's a definite bromance, absolutely admitted, but that kind of positivity, even hearing it and not hearing stuff behind the scenes, is definitely good for us.
It's really good for us because you're right, we've kind of stumbled across this a little bit, but at the same time, the stories coming from Sheffield, where he was at Wednesday, were from the players, from their fans, was that he was something special. And I think what has impressed me most about him is the fact that he's managed to understand us almost right away and what we need and what our players need. A very telling comment was after the game, he turned around and said the second half is kind of similar to the way I want to see us play all the time, which kind of tells you that he is literally moulding this to win games and nothing else at the minute. That's all he's trying to do, is make sure he gets as many points as possible. He also said something today about, I think it was an interview over in Germany, where he turned around and said that he's loving the amount of games that he's got here, and it's about getting as many points as he can before the split. And he thinks that the split's going to be pivotal and stuff like this. So that's very interesting as well. So I think he'll be looking at it in that sense, where if he can get the players that he wants in January, I think and I don't want to sit and say we're going to win this league, but I think we're going to be in the right shout with this guy, because I think he's just got a formula that fans have taken to him. And they were all, all of us were saying at the weekend, he hasn't won a big game yet. Well, he has now, and he's won it in style. The players have taken to him, the supporters in general have taken to him. You could feel the atmosphere at Ibrox has changed since he's turned up as well. So I've got a real admiration for this young man, because I think he's very unassuming. There's no ego about him. It's all about everybody else. Very notable again on Saturday was at the final whistle, he goes and tells everybody in the dugout, up you go, up to the support. Not just the players, everybody up. And it's a unity that he's known for. Philip Clement used to talk about it and called it the synergy. And there might have been something in what Big Phil said, because Danny Rose saying exactly the same thing, that it's all about getting that unity within the club. And as I say, I've got nothing. I said it Saturday, and I'll say it again. I've got nothing but admiration for this guy, because I did not see us being in this position come January at all. I just didn't see it.
Well, folks, that's us blowing the agenda, because normally we get a good 45, 50 minutes, but Kenny is not speaking for his usual 3-4 minutes because he can't. So we're going to have to do a wee bit of ball carrying ourselves here, and I'm not sure that we can. Let's get, if anyone's, this is what to do, see if anyone's got any points or that they want to make from the weekend. Amrit, I want to talk to you a wee bit, because Kenny and I did speak about Yousef Chermiti. Before we can, we'll talk about some transfers and stuff as well, and things that we might want to do and things like that as well. But Yousef Chermiti, I spoke about it on Saturday. You're long enough in the tooth now to see Rangers' careers change in the blink of an eye. I've seen many do it. I've seen people become legends in Rangers folklore for very average Rangers careers. Eric Bo Anderson, Bert Konterman. No disrespect to these guys, but they didn't really hit the heights that we thought perhaps. Yousef Chermiti changed not only his Rangers career on Saturday, but also the whole perception of him. He's now got the opportunity. He's a young man, so he is learning. I do feel like he's getting better. I'm not sure that he's around the box where I really need him to be, but he should be flying after Saturday. The way he opened up for the goal, I mean, it helped that the Celtic defence just went on, you go and have a run. But I feel like the way he responded to the support, the way the fans with him before that, by the way, a really good finish for the first, not only the second, but it was a really smart finish for the first, that wee flick in between the legs. So could Yousef Chermiti go on to become a player that maybe a target for him, he's got 4, maybe he could bag 10 and start to progress the way we want him to be? It's a tall ask, one game doesn't make, but he should be flying, shouldn't he? I mean, this is the point, like, players do change opinions and do resurrect careers on the back of stuff like that.
I think the first thing I would say, Kenny, is that for anyone to be successful in any endeavour, they've got to be talented, but they also have to have mental strength and resilience. And this boy, since he came through the door, and we've all been guilty of it. Every fan media channel, in the stands, everything. He's been surrounded by a lot of negativity directed towards him, almost personally. And he can't escape that. And he hasn't been able to escape that since he came through the door. He's had this massive weight of the 8 million transfer signing fee around his neck, and he's had to carry that with him everywhere he went. And with that came a certain level of expectation. So it was very, very difficult for him as a young boy to live up to that expectation. He gave us a little bit of snash against Kilmarnock at home when he scored that first goal, and he ran in front of the Copeman Road and gave it all that, and he got a bit of snash for that, but he gave it back and we took it. And since then, he's been very, very quiet. And he came back on when we were in the gantry, Stevie, on Tuesday at the St Mirren game, played wonderfully well. You made the point that he was playing a little bit too deep for you, which I agree with. I think a lot of his good work was done sort of almost as an attacking midfielder rather than a striker. You want your 9 that little bit further up the pitch. But I think he took that on, and then you saw on Saturday that he was in there. The minute Raskin got that ball, Chermiti was on his bike. He made that run to the front post. He wanted it, and he had that instinct that a striker needs. So I think one thing I would say is that he's shown that he has the mental resilience to be a success, because a lot of players would have been broken by all that negativity, all that pressure, all that noise that's coming in the background. But, you know, he rose to the challenge and said, okay, I'll take it, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm capable of. And he's done that so far. It's only 2 games. I'm not getting too excited, but at the same time, he's beginning to turn things around. And, you know, you look at his second goal, that wonderful direct running. You spoke about Trusty there. Trusty didn't know whether to go to the ball, whether to track Baron, or what to do. And in the end, he did neither. In the end, it was too late by the time he went to Chermiti to try and close him down, because the ball was already in the back of the net. And just as a side note, that effectively means that Conor Baron, who we spoke about, had a hand in all 3 goals. 1 with a quick throw-in, 2 with making sure that he took Trusty away and gave him something else to think about whilst Chermiti was running through, and 3 instructing Gasman to come in tight into the middle of the pitch, and then that transpired that he was in the right position to feed Mikey Moore. So that's definitely a feather in Conor Barron's cap for all 3 goals. But Chermiti, for me, I'm really excited by the young lad. He's got a lot still to prove. There's no doubt about that. But I loved when he came back to Ibrox after the game as well. You will have seen all the videos when he came back and he's in the car park and the fireworks are going off and the fans are singing to him. And it must have been a really special moment for him to feel that love, because he hasn't had a lot of love for the Rangers fans, from the Rangers fans. There's no doubt about that, because he hasn't been performing. And now he has, and hopefully we can continue to shout his name from the stands, and he can continue to do the work on the pitch. So I'm very excited at what this young man can do. I just think we need to realise, though, as well, that he's not the answer to be the main man that's going to get us 20, 25 goals this season. It can't be. We need another number 9. You can't put that responsibility on him, because I don't think he's ready yet. We need another guy that's going to come in and share the weight load, I would say, Stevie.
I would think so. I was just clearing one of them lot out from the comments. Imagine coming on to boast after we've just horsed you on Saturday, given what we've been saying about our squad, and given the fact that, like, we've been pretty grim, and we all consider this to be the worst Rangers team in a long time, and you're coming on there saying that you Huns will be this and that. I mean, give yourself a wash and some peace. Let's move on. Yeah, I especially enjoyed that Chermiti flung Ralston into the corner. Yeah, I did enjoy that, because it's just, we've not had anyone to bully them in quite a long time. So thoroughly enjoyed that, especially Ralston, who doesn't like us, who's a boyhood Celtic fan. So he doesn't like us. We certainly don't like him. So that was nice. Thoroughly enjoyed it. On Yousef Chermiti, I'll go back to what Ali McCoy said. Holy moly, guacamole, when he described the big fella up top. And he was right, Kenny, because it was deserved. It was really harsh. So, and Amrit's right, some balls on him to come back, because that's Rangers' greatest ever striker, basically saying, mate, you're not very good. And he's absorbed every single bit of it. And I'm like Amrit, I don't think it's time to really start getting overboard with him. But careers can change. I also remember Eric Bo Anderson scored a double against them, that one I mentioned, and then he went to Easter Road and got one in a game where we had like 18 players were unfit and stuff like that, and he got the first equaliser. So yeah, it's one that can catapult you and score a few more goals. maybe sets himself up for more positive seasons and stuff like that as well. So, yeah, I must admit, I didn't see it coming from Big Yousef. But I am, if he could, listen, see if he could get a goal or two that help us beat Aberdeen in this double header, fans are going to start to worship this boy the way that he became, by the way, the way that Sibo became a folk hero, because Rangers fans want the underdog to do well. They want people to prove them wrong. They want, despite the kind of criticism that we give, we're dying for people to prove us wrong, and I can't help but feel that Yousef Chermiti's got that now.
The boy said something about having confidence, and the manager is giving him that confidence, whereas he clearly didn't have it until about a month ago or so. Danny Rule has also worked with him in a lot of aspects of his game, and he was very, very gushing in his praise of the manager for making him a better player and making him understand certain aspects of the job that he didn't know. I just look at the boy and I think that in the last 3 or 4 weeks he's got better and better and better. I thought he was very good against St Mirren the other night, and I thought he was excellent in that game on Saturday. I actually thought he was excellent. I thought you mentioned the one with Ralston, where Ralston's trying to have a dig at him. He's trying to have a go at him, and he just sees him and he literally just picks him up and throws him 5 yards. And he lands on his hip and he's hurt, apparently. Like, get up, you big pussy. Honestly, and I loved the way Chermiti did that. He just looked at him. There was no expression whatsoever. Just looked at him and went, don't. It was a look of, what are you doing, you dafty? You know, the big boy's 6'3", he's built like a tank. And you've got that, and I know Ralston's not a small lad, but in comparison, he's a small lad. I wouldn't be doing that. And good. I seen that the comments that was up there about our physicality, and that is a real actual thing that I noticed as well watching the game back, was that the physicality was very much there for us. We stood off too much in the first half, but when we did try, or when we could get that physical aspect to it, we did. Second half, we were much, much more physical. And I'll just sign off here by turning and saying, everybody's saying I'm not well. I'm absolutely fine. I've just got I don't even have a sore throat. It's just my voice, I promise. I don't have any bug. I don't feel as if I'm going to die. I'm fine. But as I say, more on Chermiti. Yeah, the world is his oyster at this minute in time, because, as I say, having watched the game back, I actually appreciated his game even more on Saturday watching it second time. I thought he was very, very good.
Yeah, now's the time to follow it up. You may not be speaking great, Kenny, due to all your singing since Saturday, but we appreciate you being here as ever. I'm looking forward to the comments on Podbeam and that telling us that is our audio broken. Amrit, after Saturday and after the last few weeks, has it changed your opinion of where Rangers need signings? Would you tend to say, if the manager's right in left back, number 6, a couple of forward options? I'd really like somebody on the right. I'd really like a 10. I'd really like a 6. And I'd really like a left back. If that worked for me, then I would consider it to be quite a good window. But it's only going to be quite a good window if these players come in and fit, I suppose. And how much of a change is it to 6 weeks ago, when we all probably would have been sitting here saying that a centre half is an absolute must? All of a sudden, Fernandes, Sterling and Suter coming back in have looked fairly robust, and we look like we're going to go with them. So it's certainly been a change. Big Manny as well. I thought he dallied too much in the first half, but overall I thought he was defensively okay. Done a lot of good things. He needs to up his work, not his work rate. He needs to up his speed on the ball, I think. But if you gave me a window like that, and preferably I'd like it to happen quite soon, and these players worked, then I would start to believe that Rangers were in a real chance. Need something more than forward. Number 6, left back, yeah. That would do for me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think the important thing is, if we're being realistic now and bringing ourselves back down to earth slightly after the elation of Saturday, great result, fantastic. but it doesn't change the fact that we do need investment and reinforcements in this team. Saturday's not an example of a team that's going to win this league. But I think with the key signings and key investment in the right areas, if we make intelligent investment in this squad, I don't see any reason why we can't challenge for this title. But I think our success is predicated on the signings. That's what I would say. I think we still need the same reinforcements we spoke about quite extensively on this channel, Stevie. Left back, absolutely, because whilst Magoma's done a wonderful job, there's no doubt about it. He's a young lad. Someone like that should not have to carry the burden of being our sole left back at Rangers Football Club. You know, by the end of the season, if things continue, he will have played, 40, 50, 60 games potentially by the end of the season if he's going to keep starting for us, which is far too much for a guy of his age. As a loanee, he should be playing 15, 20, 25 games a season, 20 minutes here, half an hour there. He shouldn't be the one we're relying on. So I think in those circumstances, he's done fantastic, but we do need someone else in that position. With the centre-half situation, Stevie, I understand what you're saying about the Sterling, Fernandes and Suter combo, and it's brilliant and it's very strong. If one of them gets injured, my fear is that it brings James Tavernier back into contention. And whilst I love everything Tav's done for this squad, before everyone's going to say, I will caveat this with, he's been a great servant, he's done fantastic, but his legs are gone and he can't perform at the required level anymore. That's just me being completely objective. So if one of them gets injured, you're bringing Tav back into contention. And I don't want to see that happen, because I think if that does happen, it reduces our probability of winning this league if he's featuring on a consistent and regular basis. So I think we need a centre-half. Absolutely, I'm with you. We need a 6. 100%. And we need a 20-25 goal a season striker, a seasoned professional, someone who's got a track record and a vast storehouse of examples, a library of evidence that says this man scores 20-25 goals a season. And if it costs us 5 or 10 million, let's go and spend it. Because I'll tell you one thing, Stephen, if we make these signings right and we get it in the key areas, there is no reason we can't win this league. And then we get automatic Champions League as well. Let's remember that. And that Champions League money will cover whatever we spend in January anyway. So, Andrew Kavanagh, if you're watching, give us 15 or 20 million, please, sir. You've got it lying in a drawer at the end of your desk. We know that. So just get it spent, and then we'll give you the money back when we win the league and we get our Champions League money. That would be my plea to Andrew Kavanagh and the powers that be, Stevie. But a couple of key signings, and I can see this squad achieving something this season.
Andrew Kavanagh, if you're watching, he's already told us he does watch. Of course he watches. It's 4 lads after all. Where would you rather be than listen to Kenny's raspy voice at this moment in time? Kenny, any changes in what you want? I do think it's remarkable how my opinion's kind of changed in the last 6, 7, 8 weeks. I was dying for a centre back, I must admit, because I thought we looked all at sea. John Suter has been steady since he came back. Obviously, the Manjaro's done John all the world of good. Don't knock it, by the way. And he looks solid. Big Djon has been excellent, off-field aside. And, Manny's come on. You often went on about Manny being our player. He's really come on. So I must admit, I'm quite comfortable. Giga's still to come back. Cornelius might be thereabouts. We don't really know. Probably a question for the manager, maybe, on where Cornelius is. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's enough cover there. I do understand what Amrit's saying. I would like James Tavernier to have a successful final season and bow out in the summer as a champion. Because 1, we'll be happy. And 2, I know this sounds really, really pathetic maybe to some people, but I'd like James Tavernier to leave here on good terms with the football club and as a champion, because given as much time as he has, he probably deserves it. Do I want him to stay and get another contract? No. But that's no offence. I'm a bit where Amrit is. But James Tavernier is also capable of coming back. So it's one we just need to keep an eye on. Kenny, has it changed your opinion of what we need? And is there anybody that you would like to see come in?
Not particularly. I would say right away that a number 6 is key. I do think we need a striker. We certainly need a left back. I feel that Manny Fernandes, he had a poor first half on Saturday. Let's not kid on. However, I think that was more a tactical issue on the press, where he was the one that was pushing up into midfield, and it was his area that was getting exposed. I don't think that was necessarily down to him. I think that was the job he was being told to do, to press up. And they were ready for that and just pinged that ball inside him, outside him, in between him and Magoma about 10 times in the first half. But there's a player in there. I don't think there's any doubt in that for me. Did I think he was ready? No. Do I think he's necessarily ready right now? Well, he's proven me wrong. That's what I would say. So for me, centre half isn't key because we have got cover there when you include Djon Sterling and James Tavernier that can play in there, along with Suter, Giga, Cornelius and Manny Fernandes. You've also got Enciala there, depending on what happens with him. We have enough centre backs. Left backs are absolute essential. And number 6 for me, that is a big physical, imposing, experienced player. That's the one key position that I want to see. A number 9. I would like to see Danilo get pushed on or moved out or put on loan, whatever. I want to see perhaps 1 or 2 of the number 10s away, and we bring in another one of them. That's what I would really like. It's the spine of the team for me, Stevie, more than anything else. That 6, 10, and 9 positions are really key for me.
Sorry, Kenny, I've sent one of my young children to go and get me one of my 4 lads hat that Amrit got me because somebody asked Stevie, do you have merchandise? So I'm about to show them. Could you just keep talking for another minute, make up somebody that you want to sign or something? You
just want to give the viewers a laugh with me talking, don't you? That's all you're doing. You've actually taken the piss now, mate. I do genuinely feel that, though, that when we actually consider where we're at and the improvement in the form that we've had over the last few weeks, then I would turn around and say we are not as, I'm not as concerned about ripping it all up and throwing it away and trying to find another team very, very quickly. I do think it's those key areas, and those key areas we need proper experience. I'd like to see a really experienced number 9 come in to help these young boys. I think Miovski's a decent player, but I don't think he's performed at all. Chermiti, if you, and this is just a kind of quick way of looking at, could you imagine Chermiti if Jermaine Defoe, of a player of that ilk, was to walk in, what he would learn from someone like that? It would be amazing. And I'm not, obviously Jermaine Defoe is not going to be here, but somebody of that ilk, even just for 6 months, I think it would be absolutely brilliant. But the key area I want is a number 6.
Thank you, mate. I did send one of my very lovely young assistants, my young son Jackson, to get somebody asked, do we have merch? There you go. This is how it looks on a very bald and shiny head. There you go. Look at that. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you that these were made for us by Pep at the bottom of the screen there, who we have 20 or so of them. A couple of people have claimed some, but not got in contact. If you do want merch from 4 lads, we're not in it for profit, so we don't do that. Since Amrit gifted these, we'd maybe put them to put some money to a charity of choice that Amrit picks, but we're not in it for profit. But if some people would like a wee bit of 4 lads merch or anything else like that, we can point you in the right directions to go. So we appreciate the support. If you also do want to see us, just before we finish, we are playing New Edmiston House live on Friday evening. There is less than 50 tickets left for that event. Myself, David Edgar, and CJ Novo. So we're almost sold out New Edmiston House, which is an incredible feat. 500 odd Blue Noses going to be there on Saturday night. If we could just get a result tomorrow, yeah, there's a chance that I might smile even twice on stage. And not to mention our very special guest, Mark Haitley. We'll be talking through some of Mark's favourite memories, Walter Smith, Leeds, Europe, bribery, everything. So if you're at a loose end, come and see us on Friday night at the live show at New Edmiston House. The link is in the description to the show. Also, if you go on New Edmiston House, what's on, it's a very top option. So, yes, if you want to support Four Lads, you can do that. You can also become a member on YouTube for as little as 99p a month. What do you get for that? You get extra shows. You get things like book club interviews. You also get interviews with players. We're on episode 5 now of the Rangers years. And Chris Burke is the one that's currently live for members as well. We sit down with ex-players and ask them to talk about their time at Rangers. So we have done that. We've got a few more lined up as well. So yeah, that is us, and we hope you enjoyed it. Still a bit of a hangover for us on Saturday. We're not going to pretend that we aren't delighted to have won at their place, but we do recognise it's one game and it's 3 points. However unpopular that may be, it feels good. It absolutely does. But now we have to follow it up and make sure we do win it against Aberdeen. Folks asking, is the game on? I'll repeat what I said earlier on. Ibrox is in fantastic condition, and so is the surrounding areas. Aberdeen will travel down. I'm not really bothered on Aberdeen. You know, they will make it down and we'll get on with it. So I would be more worried about Pittodrie on Sunday would be my worry compared with tomorrow night. So let's get that done, dusted. I'm pretty sure Aberdeen will come up first thing anyway, and it'll be fine. So I think tomorrow will be fine. Sunday, I'm a bit worried about. Amrit, thank you, my man, for a great show. Again, all the work you do provided us all with some fantastic merch, which we've enjoyed wearing in the last week. Still pressing you on the Four Lads ice cream. We've not quite cracked that yet, but we'll keep working on you for that one. But as ever, mate, thoroughly appreciate you coming on. Tell us about sponsors, Candid, and where we can find you before we go.
So we have 4 stores, Stevie, in Polmont, Stennismuir, Grangemouth and Denny. Denny's probably the closest one to Glasgow. If there's a lot of people from Glasgow, then Denny's the closest one. It's about 10 minutes from Cumbernauld, so not far at all. So most welcome. Come and try some of our desserts and homemade Italian gelato made by my fair hands. Well, they're not really fair. They're salted caramel, but they're not fair. But anyway, I can say that, Stevie. I can say that. If you say it, you get 5 years. If I say it, it's funny, right? That's just the way it works. So no, but yeah, Stevie, looking forward to Friday. I get to see you on Friday on the stage, so I'll be there to support you. Wish you all the very best of luck for that. I'm sure it'll be a huge success, and there'll be a lot of people there supporting you and the channel on Friday. So that'll be a great evening.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Kenny, as ever, even with a raspy voice, you still pull through. My day one, as ever, founder of the Four Lads podcast, which, yeah, by the way, how fun would it be if we just kept winning and just were able to have a laugh more often? Like, what would we do? We'd have to rename the pod the Happy Pod. So, but yeah, fantastic reaction to our pod on Saturday. We thoroughly enjoyed it. It was nice. I think even through, there was a wee bit of piss take, but there's a realisation that it is one game and there's a very long way to go before we start proclaiming Rangers are this, that and everything else. But we did enjoy the moment, which we're quite entitled to. Thank you, mate, as absolutely ever for everything you do.
No, you've got to enjoy Saturday. You're not a football fan if you can. The only thing I would say is that it is only one game. When we are aware of that it's only one game. However, you haven't given me my backstage passes yet, mate. So get that sorted for Friday, and I'll give you this loggy if it comes to anything. And I'm looking forward to Friday, actually. Davey's a good lad. I've never met CJ, but Davey Edgar's a crack guy, so it should be a good show. I'm really looking forward to it.
Backstage passes. We said we were going to make this PG, but hey ho. Right. Anyway, people are asking. There's no links to these, folks. If you want one of these bonnets and they quite fancy it, there's not even a price for them. We'd maybe just ask if you sent something over and we'd put it to charity. We'll choose somewhere. If you do end up wanting to do that, our email address is fourladshadadream@gmail.com. Send over your details, and we'll organise that from there. Any that we do sell, even if it's 3, 4 or 5 of them, we'll let you know. We'll keep you updated. We'll put everybody's name up that have paid for them, and Amrit can choose what charity it goes to, and maybe we can give something back. As I said, we're not in it for profit or to profit off anybody. If you want to help the channel, you can become a member, get some extra stuff, and you also get to watch all the shows ad-free as well. We might get Kenny to record a wee 30-second video tonight in his voice, because a few people have said they really like it as well. So I don't know what that means, but yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you to our sponsors as ever: Rhino Express, Cloudview Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, our friends at Candid, as you very well know, and our Sunday sponsor, John, and the team at Local Dart Shop Online. If you do want any merch of that, email us at 4ladshaderdream@gmail.com. 4 is spelt 4, not the number. Or even if you just want to say hello, you want to write, you want to come on the pod, get in contact with us. That's what Amrit did, and look at him now. He is everybody's favourite, and we love it. Kinda. Something like that. Anyway, good luck to Rangers tomorrow night. Good luck to my very best friend, Danny Rule, and all the team. Kenny, get well soon. Even if you're not unwell, get your voice soon. You're on Wednesday. We're back Wednesday night. Who am I on with tomorrow night on the gantry? Tomorrow night is Mark on the gantry. Me and Mark are covering, so come and join the matchday vlog. And then on Wednesday, it's me, Kenny, and the return of Chris on Wednesday night at 7. Friday, the show is later. It'll be live at 8 o'clock. For those of you not at the live show, it's Andy and Mark that are on from 8. And then the Sunday show will be back. Some people asking where Cheryl is. Cheryl is absolutely fine. She is busy, but she is very much part of the team, not going anywhere. She will be on soon, just whenever she's kind of available. And yeah, that's really it. Folks, have a great time. Good luck to the team and the manager tomorrow night, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.